Okay, Picard 2020. What is the storyline? I know there's like a million videos online discussing, debating, analysing and speculating what the storyline of Picard will be. So I thought I'd drop in my own 50 cent and see what you think. I think I've got it. I think I've solved the riddle that is Picard. Now, Nemesis. Picard, Data dies. So Picard is promoted. Or he chooses to be promoted. Who knows? And he goes back to Earth and he makes wine. He's world famous. He's universally famous now. He doesn't have to do anything ever again. He's earned his retirement. Until the young girl shows up. But we'll get to that. I think after Nemesis, we all know that Romulus explodes due to the sun exploding. So the Romulan Empire is gone. It's fallen to its knees. And the survivors scatter across the Alpha Quadrant. During this time, I speculate that the Borg, perhaps in retaliation to Voyager, bum rush the Alpha Quadrant and use the gap of defense in the Romulan sector to attack the Alpha Quadrant. However, due to Voyager returning many years before, and it has been upgraded with future technology from future Janeway that was used to fight the Borg, plus 7 of 9, the Federation is able to defeat the Borg that attack. But then I speculate. They've defeated the Borg, but unfortunately they've killed all the Queens. Or maybe that was the weapon they used. They killed all the Queens somehow. And now they have thousands upon thousands of drones imprisoned on their own ships. Maybe. It's hard to really tell where they're being kept. It looks like they're being kept on a Borg ship as a prison. Perhaps because that's where they can rejuvenate themselves in their coves. But the problem is, it's taken too long to revert them back to their normal state. So they have to make sure that these drones are kept away from everybody. So they're imprisoned in their own ships, and they're being slowly processed back to their original species. It's tough going. Like 7 of 9, or any Borg that's being converted, it's traumatic, it takes years, and it's going to take a very long time for this to happen. So the Federation are stuck with thousands of Borg, and quite frankly, they don't know what to do with them. At the same time, I speculate that the Romulans survivors, well, they've been busy. They've been experimenting on Borg. They want the Empire back, but they don't have the soldiers or the technology to do so. Now, maybe based on the same event that happened in Nemesis, they've created a clone of a queen, perhaps, which they grew. Or they found an infant embryo on one of the Borg ships, which happened to be a queen. But it takes a couple of years for it to mature before it can handle the communication load of the other Borg drones. I don't know. I'm speculating. So now this girl escapes. Jahar, I think her name is. Or Daha. And she escapes. Which seems with memories of Picard. Perhaps passed down from queen to queen. Very remnant of the alien queens that inherit memories from the Ridley Scott movies. So she's got the inherited memories of the previous queens, and she has a fond memory of Picard. Somewhere along the way she loses her own kind of memory, or short-term memory, so she has no idea who she is, but she's got the inherited memory of the queens. So she runs towards Picard for help. And this is where the main storyline kind of goes, really. I speculate that The Romulans are trying to catch this girl because they want to control the drones and make the derelict Borg ships and the drones their soldiers and their weapons so they can take back their old empire. In the midst of all this, she's ran to Picard, and Picard goes to the Federation, but they don't want to have anything to do with this. It's either they don't believe Picard or they don't want to get involved because they're busy with something else. So Picard is left by himself to collect a ragtag team of either people who admire him, who are related to previous members of the Enterprise, and they get this girl and they try to save her or bring her to a said location. Who knows? But I do think that the girl is definitely either based off the Nemesis clone stuff, or she is an embryo, which we have seen in the Next Generation and in Voyager, that they're grown, or the babies are collected from the victims of the Borg, and she awakes, or she is grown on a facility, perhaps on the Borg ship itself, by the Romulans, and escapes, loses her memory, finds Picard. La 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 la. And I think that's where it's going to end up being. It's going to be pretty much a very standard storyline. A race against time to stop the Romulans from obtaining a newly grown queen that will be able to control the drones, and they'll get their hands on technology and get their revenge against the Federation, which they blame everything for. Because if we go by what happened in the 2009 Star Trek, the Romulans were instantly blaming, or should I say the survivors of that ship instantly blamed the Vulcans for the destruction of their world. Well, blame Spock. So one can assume, after their world is destroyed, that they will blame the Federation for this, and they will find any means they can to do this. So experimenting on Borgs and trying to find some way to control them, which they have failed up to this point, is their end goal. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very straightforward story in that respect, with a hodgepodge of old nostalgic characters like Riker and Troy, and perhaps a hologram version of Data. I would like this whole Picard reboot to be more about Data, but I don't think it will. I think it's mostly just bait to make us watch it, and it will. I'll watch anything with Data in it, so it will be. I think it'll be a very straightforward story. This is merely my theory on it, but I feel I've watched enough science fiction to project a very obvious storyline. I don't think it will be any way too extreme outside this line that I've spoken about today. So, what's your thoughts on it? Do you think I'm right? Do you think it's a ploy by the Romulans to control the remaining Borg so they can use that as an army for themselves? And this Borg has inherited memories from the Queen of Picard, so she runs to him after she loses her short-term memory to seek help. I don't know. Do you think it's something completely different that I haven't thought about? Maybe there's a time travel element to it that is quite prevalent now in Star Trek. Time travel seems to be this easy thing. So yeah, that's my take on Picard. If you like my podcast or my videos or whatever you want to call them, please subscribe, please comment, and tell me what you think. Have a good day, guys.